Well, the children's has all kind of got the hoveys tonight. You look over here, wrong direction. I got this. I'm not that smart. I got this reversing. There's Abraham. He's eating out of Clara's bowl, and there's Clara, and there's Jeffy, and back there's Missy. Missy's got the serious huffs. Over there is the cart with its arrows in the air. It usually doesn't live here inside the barnyard, but hello, Clara. Look, say hello to the people. Hello. Yes, you're pretty. Uh, it usually doesn't live here, but we've had a really weird 3 or 4 days. I thought I'd catch you up. It's partly a sad story, so if you're not in the mood for a sad story, why come back some other day or never, whenever. Um, Abe's front feet hurts all the time, every day, whenever he's alive, which means always. I have uh, things that hurt all the time, always, whenever I'm alive, and I'm sympathetic with it. Under some people's circumstances, that should mean I wouldn't work him. And I don't work him very hard. There's Missy. She's come over to look at us. Hello, Missy, honey. Do you want to look? Oh, see, no, don't point that thing at me. I don't like that thing. See, that's her. She doesn't like it. I know, honey. I'm sorry. Come on. I don't have anything. Just old Jeffy hands. Yeah, she's my girl. So, uh, uh, that's my excuse or my rationalization for rushing Missy. We've got to get quite a bit of hay up still this year to have enough food to carry these people through the winter without anybody starving to death or, suffering from insufficient resources. Now, it's not impossible. I could wind up buying some hay from Sydney. She's got some what she calls donkey hay, which means it's got more weeds in it than her horse customers want, but she knows my donkeys won't mind that. So I can probably get a better price for it than horse hay. But it'll be at square bales. I don't like to handle square bales if I don't have to anymore. I'm old and I'm decrepit, and this loose hay's a lot less work. Oh, Missy's over there. I guess she just chased Bandit out of the, or not Missy, but Clara. You always go, Missy's right here, aren't you, sweetheart? Can I show the people your face? Will you let them look at you? You're just so pretty. You're just so pretty. I know, honey. There's Abe. He's right there. We're all here together. They want to know what I'm doing. They tolerate me. Anyway, so I worked Abe on 2 cartloads we brought up here. The hay's over there. You can see it. And then I got a bunch of it in other places. But I always fill that spot first because that's the spot I feed out of. So it gets bigger and smaller. That's a current hay. Whatever we hauled last is what's going to get fed first. And there goes Missy now. There she is, my girl. Uh, Clara, what are you doing? Anyway, um, Abe and I hauled 2, maybe even 3 cartloads up to here, and we put it. Then when I get that too big that I can't throw hay on top of it anymore, then I put it inside the barn in various places I've got. But this is an ongoing project. I've got to get a lot more. These guys got hay on the ground now. They're kind of upset because they're having to eat all of it instead of just the yummy part. But life's tough. And there goes Clara back behind me. Um. Anyway, I had hooked Missy up to the cart a couple of times, just 6 times, 7 times, whatever the total number was. Oh, that's right. And uh, I decided to take the chance and try to haul hay with her because Abe's foot was hurting a little worse than most days. And he always limps a little on one of his front feet. I mean, he does it whether he's working or not, so it's not like he has a choice to be not in pain. It's like me and my pain. I have a prescription for non-steroidal, non-addictive pain medication that I take one of every night so I can sleep. Pain goes with being old and decrepit and having worked too hard all your life. And so I don't work him too hard, and I honor his pain. But if he's up here in the barnyard, he's in pain. He's in pain now. He's standing there eating. I can't make the pain go away. I wish I could. When he's in too much pain, he lays down a lot. Not all the time, but a lot to relieve the pain. And I never work him when he's laying down a lot because he hurts too bad. But if he's up and around all the time, he's babying that one leg now. If he's up and around all the time, then we need small things carried. Now, I can pull that cart. It's not that hard for him. He's really strong. So we do what we can do. Um, but I really didn't want to work him any longer, and I still got hay down, and I need to get it up here. And it's like I don't have anything besides donkeys to haul loose hay with. I don't have a way to revert to tractor power. I mean, I could drive down there with a tractor and a flatbed trailer, okay, and I could get off the tractor and fork hay onto the trailer and get on the tractor and move it and get off the tractor and fork hay onto the trailer and get on the tractor and move it. And then when I got up here, the tractor wouldn't fit into the spaces where the donkey cart fits. So I wouldn't be able to unload the hay like I do now, but I tip back Abe right up where the hay's going, and then I ask him to hold, and I push the hay out of the cart onto the ground, and then I fork it into the appropriate pile. And I only have to handle it. I have to handle it once to get it into the cart. Pushing it out of the cart is a mass handling, so it doesn't count. I can push the whole cartload at once. And then once it's on the ground, then I have to handle each individual forkful again. But see, square bales, you have to do the same thing. You come up here with a trailer load of square bales, you have to put them on the ground. Then you have to carry them into the building. Then you have to carry them into the room in the building where they're going. And then you have to stack them in the building. And you have to lift them up over your head to stack them. And I'd rather take a fork and pick up a scoop of hay and then pitch the fork up onto the top of the pile. It's a lot less labor, I mean, I can put up 600-800 pounds of hay by the forkful a lot easier than I can put up 600 or 800 pounds of hay by the 40 or 50 pound square bale. The forkfuls weigh 10 or 20 pounds a piece, depending on how loaded it is. It's just less work. It takes a little more time, because work is foot-pounds of motion per unit of time. So if I'm doing less work, I'm moving less foot-pounds, less distance per unit of time. I know. I can't help it. That's how I think. Anyway, so I wanted to give Abe a break, and so I wanted to haul it with Kitty, or Missy, even though she wasn't really ready. She hauled the cart a few times. So I pulled the cart, hooked her up to the cart, took her down to the hayfield. The hayfield, if I look over the camera from where I'm talking to you now and into the sun that's shining in my face, I'm looking towards the hayfield where I got hay down right now. Where I could go down there right this minute if I chose to and fork up a cartload of hay and bring it up there. And so I took her down there, and I had my long orange rope that I call the emergency brake on the cart. And she really didn't want to stand. As I've said in other videos, it's a lot harder for them to stand when they're first working a cart than it is for them to walk. Once they get moving, they feel, I don't know how they feel. I mean, I talk about what they feel. I don't anthropomorphize these donkeys. I don't think that donkeys are people. I think that people are animals, and animals are their own kind of animals, and that they have identities, wills, purposes, objectives in the same sense that we do, but that they're different because they're donkeys. They're not us. Anyway, when they're walking on a cart, when they're beginners, usually they walk quite calmly. They might start a little and take a few real quick steps, but they might not. But if you ask them to stand, after a little while they want to walk, and they take a step or two, and then when they know you want them to stop, that gets into their fear reflexes and their prey animal instincts. So then they think maybe they need to run, and she'd run around circles around me 2 or 3 times, and I'd only got 3 or 4 forkfuls of hay on the cart. And she started to run. I don't know how far it is from here to there. My sense of direction or distance isn't really good, but I'm going to say it's several hundred yards. And it's around, to come up from down there, you have to come up a lane between a bunch of fence posts. You have to go through a gateway. Then back behind us, you have to turn 90 degrees and run this direction. And then you can't see it from here, but directly behind that post that I'm pointing at right there, that post, directly behind that post, there's a gate that runs away from me over to that next farther lamp post. These 2 posts. I have a panel gate that I can open there. And when we're hauling hay, that gate's open, and one back there that you can't see from here is open. And we come in there, we turn around, we go back out that other one, we stop, we unload the hay. It's right there. There's all these other gates I'm talking about there. Back over there, gates over there, doorways over there, haystack there, all that stuff. Okay, so that's how we do it. We work in a circle. We go down there, we pick up a load, we come up here, we come around the circle, we come in here, we go back out, we stop, we unload, we go back down there, we come back up, we go in a circle. Abe knows his circle. He's good at it. Able to do 80 or 90% of this circle hands-free. Well, he won't walk away hands-free yet. I have to hold his rope. Uh, uh, but I don't have to do anything with it. My hand has to touch it. And then he says, okay, we're together. And then he walks. So, but he knows his circle, and he knows where we're going to stop, and he knows he has to back, and he knows all this stuff. But she's still young, and she's still shy, and she didn't grow up. Abe grew up. Abe was born on my farm. He's been with me all his life. He's 19 years old, and I have my arms around him the day he was born. And hello, sweetheart. You're just so beautiful. You're just so beautiful. Yes, you are. I know, honey. It's different, He gets more stubborn in a way because he's known me so long. He feels that he has, the authority to argue with me. But on the other hand, he doesn't get frightened the same way. Every runaway Abe's ever staged on me, he was angry, and every runaway she's ever staged or tried to stage, she was frightened. And I acknowledge, that they're people like we are. Anybody who thinks that animals don't get angry, don't get huffy, don't get grumpy, don't get happy, doesn't know them. They do. They get all those things. But she wasn't angry when she ran away. She was scared. And she started to go around me, and I picked up the long orange rope, and she made another loop, and the wheel went over the rope, and the rope wrapped around the axle. Now, this axle doesn't turn. It's a stationary axle. The wheel runs on bearings on a spindle on the end. But once the rope wrapped around the axle, then I couldn't pull on it. I couldn't pull on her anymore. I had no control over her. I had no way to communicate with her. And so I just let go of the rope. Then, game's over. I could hang over and get dragged all the way if I would hang on and get dragged all the way if I wanted to, but I had no influence over her motion at the time. So she ran all the way up the lane. I was lucky she didn't hit either of the gate posts at the main gateway down there, which either one of those would have shattered the cart. She came over here. She missed the gateway in by a little bit, and there's a T-post there. There's a big gate, a cart gate, and then there's a walk-through gate. And there's a T-post, which is a steel post. Looks like, wait a minute. Flip this thing. I can't flip it around without stopping it. Looks like that green metal post right there that you're seeing somewhere in there. I can't see what you're seeing now. Anyway, so that's a T-post. And so I got a T-post over there. So she missed the gateway by enough to run the cart over the T-post, and that bent the T-post over, and it threw the cart up and flipped it over. And so the cart flipped over on her, the shafts go down beside her. When it flipped over, it went like this. So she's got one shaft beside her and the other shaft pushing in on her from the other side. Somewhere in the course of that, she got about 5 little cuts and one hind leg. Uh, Not big, not stitchable, not long-term dangerous, but all bleeding, all sore, and the cart upside down. And because the cart was upside down on her, uh, that pulled all the straps on her harness tight and put them all in a bind so that I couldn't get the harness off of her. So I couldn't unhook her from the cart. So I had to turn the cart back upside right um, before I could unhook it off of her. And then I unhooked it off of her and let her in here. I'm sitting in their stall. Let her in here and tied her up and brushed her and took the harness off of her. But she was just scared to death. I mean, she was just petrified. Poor old thing. And that was that was the third day back. Today's Saturday, Friday, so that would have been Thursday afternoon that this happened. And she busted up the cart pretty good. When it flipped over, the part of the front of the cart where the shafts mount on is mounted to a plank that's perpendicular to the cart bed, and busted that plank all up and bent the steel. And so I had to take the cart apart and had to take that plank all off, all in pieces, and make a new one. I made a 2x6 plank to replace it. Put the cart back together. That took me 2 days. Took me the rest of Thursday, and then it took me all my work day yesterday. And or no, not yesterday. I don't know. I've lost track. I can't do time. I'm sorry. My brain's broken. I can't do that. Anyway, this has all been going on over since late last week. Today's still Saturday. And hello, Abraham. You're so good. You're so noble. Yes, you are. He's right there. Those are yours. And the after I finished fixing the cart, then I caught her. There's a hitching post over there. It's the oldest hitching post in the barnyard. I don't know if you can even see it. It's this post, that post, and over there's a horizontal wooden post, and that's a hitching post. And that's the oldest hitching post we got. And I took her there and I tied her up. And I brought the cart up to hook it to her. And she was just petrified, poor old thing. And she was trying to move sideways and trying to keep me from getting the cart on her, which she'd never done before because it had never hurt her before. This was a serious setback, and this all came because I rushed her. If I'd been willing, you make these decisions. I mean, I needed to give Abe some time off, and I needed to haul hay, and I made all these decisions, but she wasn't ready, and you're gonna want what you want. That's why I keep telling people in this conversation about climate change. I say, well, people don't want to do that. What you want doesn't matter. What you want has to be cut from the menu. You have to want something that's possible. You can't go into McDonald's and ask for filet mignon. It doesn't matter what you want. And you can't work a donkey who's not ready for the job you want them to do. And if you do, you're asking for a wreck. And what we had is what a horse person calls a wreck. We had a big wreck. So I tied her up short, about that much rope between her chin and the hitching post, and that's a serious hitching post. It'll hold 2 draft horses. And Abraham, don't step on my tripod, buddy. And I got the cart on her, and I petted her and gave her a goodie, and I led her around the field. I petted her and I gave her a goodie, and I led her the other direction around the field, and it was obvious that was the direction she'd been running when she got hurt, because that direction scared her. And she tried to run. There's a tank out in the middle of this field here. It's just an old stock tank, and it's there because we haven't hauled it to the scrapyard yet, and it's got to be someplace, and if I don't move it out of there, it goes somewhere else, and then it's in my way. Then there's an ear. Hello, Abraham. And So, uh, the I had the 25-foot rope, the long rope, and I could stand by the tank, and she just ran in circles around it. And for the first time in her life, she made a full 720-degree, 2 times around circle on a runaway before she stopped. That means she was really upset. And when she stopped, I gave her some goodies. I was going to work her a little more today. I kind of wanted to take her out and try to get a load or two of hay last night, but there was no way. She was not ready for that. And if I'd have done that, we'd have just had another wreck. It was obvious. And so we didn't. Uh, I've still got hay down. It's not baled, and so the fact that it uh, uh, gets dew every night and dries every day isn't hurting it too bad, and it's been turned enough times to be, it's laying on dry ground. So if I can get it up before the next rain, it'll still be worth having. Um, and I don't know, Abraham, he's standing now on 3 legs, and hello, give me that foot. How's that foot feeling? Eh, it's sore. Uh, he stands on it. It's just sore. He's just, he ain't gonna get well. This is forever. His foot's gonna hurt for the rest of his life. I'm not gonna kill him till he's in so much pain that he can't stand it, and then I'll have to, and I'll cry quite a bit. But I'm hoping it'll be a long time. I do everything in my power to keep him sound and keep him healthy and be gentle with him, take care of him. What I'm doing that you can't see is I'm petting him. He's behind the camera, and he, yes, you're the best there is, Ed. You're the best there is, buddy. He's, he'd do it. He'd do it. He'd do it willingly. Uh, and if he got to where he hurt too bad, he'd tell me, look, this is really getting tired, and I'd have to let him stop, because that's how we do it. We work this out together. We're in this together. But by rushing her, buddy, your ear's kind of in the way. By rushing her and pushing her past what she was ready for, now we're way back from where we were. We're in a spot that ideally we never would have gotten into. She never would have had this much fear. And so that's, that's just, it really matters, to believe what the natural forces around you are telling you. You have to work within them. These people are they're big and they're strong and they're smart and they're brave and they try to help you. But they have problems too. Everybody has their own bad days. And I had 2 or 3 real bad days after I did that with her. She's back now. Hello, sweetheart. I'm so glad you came back. She used to come around all the time. Now she got so scared that for a day or two she didn't even want to be around me. Now she's hoping I'll give her a goodie. I don't have any goodies. I didn't go in the barn, but she's tasting my fingers, with her lip, and now she's gonna walk off behind me. But we got back most of what we had, but we still got a little more work to do, and I didn't strike her, I didn't hurt her, but I'm responsible. I'm in charge here, and if she got hurt, I'm responsible for that. And the reason that matters, I'm not beating up on myself. You can't fix something if you don't have agency over that thing. Okay, if I look at what I did and I say, I made this mistake, and therefore I'm responsible for this problem, then I have the necessary agency to fix that. I can acknowledge my mistake. I can take whatever action is necessary to cure it, which is going to take some time, but that's what it is. It is, we're here now. We're not back there. You always have to solve from where you are, not from where you wish you were. And I don't know why this thing gets bright and dim. I can't help that. But anyway, we're here now, and we'll make it back there. That's little Clara there. She's a little bit darker than her mama. She's significantly smaller, but I think it's maybe hard to tell in the camera. That's a claributt right there that I got my hand on. She likes to be petted on the butt. They all do. They like to be petted right at the base of their tail. There's my Abraham. His forehead right there. His forehead is just right there. He's my man. He's my Abraham. Yeah, ain't nobody like him anywhere. Nobody. He's a buddy. So they just hollered to beat the band when I came out of the house. They were huffy because I didn't feed them anything except this hay that they didn't finish from earlier. And it's like, y'all don't eat the hay I feed you. It's kind of all we got, you know. So might as well. No point to feed you any other. It'll just be more of this, you know. And they figure that out. So all this crunching you hear and munching, they're eating it. Mostly they just want somebody to pay attention to them. You know, they want somebody to tell them they're being fed, tell them they're being loved. They're really special. They're really special. I mean, these animals are as special to humans as dogs are. And they do a lot of work for you. So anyway, I'm a little sad. I mean, I'm quite sad because I never wanted to hurt her, you know, and I did. And so I'm sad, but we'll all get over this. We'll get past this. This is for now. The sun's a red golden ball. It's about a fingernail sliver off the horizon. It'll be gone in 4 to 6 minutes. And I'll be gone quicker than that. I appreciate y'all coming along. Good night.